And while you're voting, Melissa Correa now giving us a closer look at the Texas connection in this developing story.
Anti-abortion bills are popular this legislative session, with Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Ohio approving fetal heartbeat bills so far this year. The bill bans abortions after a heartbeat is detected in the embryo, typically 5 to 6 weeks into a pregnancy.
House Bill 314 passes.
Late last night, Alabama passed the Human Life Protection Act, which bans all abortions except when necessary to prevent a serious health risk to the woman. Abortions for victims of rape or incest would not be allowed, and any doctor who performs an illegal abortion could face up to life in prison.
We can't get a heartbeat bill until we get Roe versus Wade revisited and turned over.
Alabama Representative Terry Collins sponsored the bill designed to make its way to the now conservative-leaning U.S. Supreme Court. Some politicians are trying to overturn Roe versus Wade. In 2013, Texas tried, creating a law which required doctors who performed abortions to have admitting privileges at nearby hospitals. The U.S. Supreme Court struck it down in 2016. With the Texas legislative session wrapping in 12 days, it's unclear if lawmakers will approve any anti-abortion bill. Melissa Correa, KHOU 11 News.
And if Alabama's governor signs the bill into law, it will take effect in 6 months, but it will likely be met with lawsuits and eventually lead to a Supreme Court decision.